It. Boom, 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 boom. Always making sure this thing goes live because you just never know. There we go. Because we recorded yesterday on a different podcast thing. Anyway, everybody,
Uh-oh. Hey, sorry, I was getting
is
audio static.
is it still going?
Yeah, I hear static. Sorry.
I think it's Zoom does this to me because. Sorry, everybody, we're live by the way. It's because Can you hear me now? Better.
No, I can barely hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. Let
Sorry,
me.
everyone.
No, it's okay. We're technical difficulties. It's what happens. Can you speak for me, Luke, real quick?
These things. Yeah, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Testing,
Test.
testing,
Yeah.
testing.
Yeah, I can. I hear you
There,
good. No static. We're good.
there we go. Yeah. Sorry, everybody.
These
Welcome.
things happen. You never know.
You just never know what's going to happen. Welcome to Two for One Joe Live. I'm your host, Donovan Thompson. Of course, I'm with my good friend Luke Irvin.
Good
Today
morning.
is Monday, August 29th. I just woke up just a few minutes ago. I got my coffee. So if I'm not all here, then bear with me. Let's get into the top three box office over the weekend. So we go over here to Box Office Mojo. So we had The Invitation open up at number one with $7 million, which is not very much for number one movie over the weekend. Bullet Train with 5.6 and Beast with 4.9 million. This is the softest weekend of the year so far. I think with only $50 million total, and I think it's
Mm,
even pound for pound less than the same weekend as last year. But that's kind of part of it. I mean, Invitation is not a huge
yeah.
movie. Bullet Train opened up 2 weeks ago, and I mean, Beast is also
Yeah.
not a big movie, so Top
Right.
Gun's still pulling in $5 million this weekend, which is wild. But
Yeah.
did you watch The Invitation, Luke?
No, I'm on the fence. I don't know. It's one of those maybes. Like I think with what's playing right now, I'd probably go see what's it called, Where the Crawdads Sing or whatever that one's called. I haven't seen that one, and that one's still out.
Um,
I'd probably pick that one over The Invitation, I think. But
yeah.
also, we've got National Cinema Day coming up this upcoming weekend,
Is it this weekend or is it okay?
Saturday. So Saturday, it's like over 3,000 theaters. Like all screenings will be $3 for tickets, like for any format. And plus,
Yeah,
this upcoming weekend, we've got the extended Spider-Man No Way Home.
I know. I'll be in LA this weekend, so I doubt I'll get to be able to catch it. But no, I mean that sounds like magic. Personally, three
Yeah.
dollars for movie tickets. I did see this. I thought I for some reason thought it was gonna be like on a Monday. You
No, it's
know,
Saturday.
that's
And you can
awesome.
pre-order now. You can pre-order, I would probably wait until Wednesday for the newer releases to get on the websites. But yeah, you can definitely go pre-order for anything now for $3.
That's pretty awesome. That's a good deal. They
Yeah,
should do stuff like that more often. Like if
of
they
course they
know
would.
if they know
Hmm.
that like there's gonna be some lulls with like certain movies, and they've talked about doing variation of prices for like movies that have been out for a couple weeks and like trying to charge them a premium for new movies, which I'm not a
Hmm.
huge fan of because it kind. I mean, honestly, I don't really give a shit. I'm gonna be there no matter how whatever it costs, but still, it's
Yeah,
just I don't know. I don't like having like a gatekeeper there with like you have to have
right.
this much money to get to watch the new Spider-Man movie versus everybody else.
No,
Something about that
don't
kind of
need
makes
that.
me feel gross. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
we don't need that.
yeah, today's gonna be kind of a shorter day, I think. But we'll see how long we talk. So Star Wars, John Boyega on Finn Return. He had a lot to say about this, but I think my favorite quote was, "I'm good." Uh, he uh, he's been doing the rounds for his new movie. God, I can't think of the name of it now. It's got some good praise.
I know what looked this up the other day and I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, I think
Yeah,
Little Rock may be showing it.
yeah,
I
it's
can't
getting
remember.
some good buzz in general.
Yes.
I think it's right. Let's see. Well, I don't see it on here. Um, but he was on there talking about it, and he said, I'm good. He kind of went on to criticize even like the lack of Luke Skywalker and some of the other plot details that we talked about, like a stormtrooper rebellion, all these other things. And you know what? I think I'm good too on your return, just because. I mean, I liked him as Finn a lot, but I don't know. I I feel like you can't do Finn without Ray Skywalker, and I'm just not a huge fan
Yeah,
of Ray Skywalker at the end of the day.
yeah,
And so
same.
I'm just like, okay, I'm fine. Let's not do sequels to those, at least with those
Yeah,
characters, unless you're
yeah,
Poe, unless you do one with Poe, because Poe
yeah.
rules.
I agree 100%. If Oscar wanted to come back, like, let's do it. But
Yeah,
I think everything else, we got what we got. Let's just move forward and keep building out cooler, more Star Wars stories.
I agree. Andor's around the corner, and they've been doing a lot of talk
Yeah,
about the show in general, and
yeah. I'm very
they've been
very excited to see that one.
I am too, and they've talked about the structure of season one and season two, and it's very interesting. Every time they talk about it, I'm not quite sure. I feel like I understand less and less, but I'm curious to see what they do with it in terms of like the time jumps and like how it kind of there's these blocks of episodes that tell a specific period of time. So I'm kind of curious as to how they all pull it off.
Right.
Switching over to Marvel. She-Hulk doubles Miss Marvel's viewership. It's on par with Moon Knight. Um, yeah, I mean, I did you watch episode two, Luke?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Um, yeah, it's kind of like some interesting setups. I mean, there's some really cool things
Yeah,
that were revealed in it for
yeah.
building out the world that we're getting right now. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes.
One thing, the only thing I want to talk about with you is I feel like there's a canon break because at the end of Shang-Chi,
Mm,
Bruce Banner is in human form and he's got his sling on, and
right.
that takes place after the Abomination Wong fight. But during She-Hulk, he's in space on the ship to probably investigate the Sicarian ship that hit him in episode one. And
Hmm.
then while he's in space, oh, I just figured out how they could fix it. Okay, wait. So he's in space, right? And then you have um, the Abomination fight happening while Bruce is off planet. So it's like, oh, like also the his arm was fixed, in episode one before
Hmm.
Shang-Chi starts. So anyway, just some canon breaking there. But it just
It's
dawned on me
interesting.
as I was talking to you, the Bruce we saw at the end of Shang-Chi could easily be a Skrull. Easily.
True. Very true.
But we'll see if that was intentional or that was an accidental canon break.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'll need to dive a little bit more into that. But yeah,
It just dawned on me. I haven't seen anyone talk about that, but I was like, oh man, that could be fixed that way.
what are did you like the little Wolverine hint?
Man with metal claws in a bar. Yes, I loved it. I loved it. So yeah, I mean, I wonder who if that was that Kevin Feige and them knew about that or someone on the VFX team snuck it in. I don't know. You just don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I loved it personally,
I
and
really want to see what the third one says because
mm,
you can barely read it, and it says it's like Iron Man's threes or whatever. So
mm,
we get like Wolverine, Eternals, and then that third one's just cut off. What does it say?
mm,
I need to
interesting.
know. I need to
We
know.
need to know. WandaVision showrunner Matt Shakman has rumored to direct Fantastic Four. He will drop directing duties on Star Trek 4, which he was doing. He's also directed things for Fargo, for
Hmm.
Succession,
Hmm.
for I mean, he was a showrunner on WandaVision, like we just said. So yeah, I mean, it looks like we're getting some final pieces of the puzzle here. And if this is true, if this could have been months ago negotiation. We're just now getting drips of it now, but also we'll know at D23 coming around the corner here. So how do you feel about Max Chapman taking over Fantastic Four duties?
With his current resume, yeah, definitely for it. A lot of the stuff he's done, I'm a fan of. So, excited to see what he does.
I feel like I guess I'm wrong. I thought he's also directing some of the first two episodes of the multiverse, um, the MonsterVerse TV show on Apple TV. I guess I was thinking that he also wrote Multiverse of Madness, but I guess not. I guess it was the one of the writers for WandaVision, but he okay.
Hmm.
So anyway, I guess so it makes me feel a little better actually because I thought multiverse wasn't as strong, but I think part of that too is just because of the reshoots and everything else. Um,
Mm,
so it makes it feel a little better. So Olivia Wilde on Secret Madam Web movie. She's in talking about regards to Marvel and their secrecy. She says that I can't say a word about. Yeah, no, I can't say anything about it. I have to bury myself in the couch now. There's been lots of rumors and casting things about this movie. We don't really know what kind of movie it is. We suspect it's a secret like Warner Brothers or not Warner Brothers, a secret a secret Spider Woman movie, like team up movie of some sort, like a
hmm
Spider Woman verse movie or something. She also went on to kind of talk about if it connects to the MCU, and she was very vague, and that's why this is more important because she was like, well, I can't really talk about it, and you just never know. Those guys are great to work with, and X, Y, and Z. So it's kind of like, huh? It feels like it could be. We're still building this Sony verse, right? We have Michael Keaton in there in Morbius. We have Aaron Taylor Johnson's
hmm
Kraven the Hunter around the corner. I
hmm
feel like we are going to get Spider-Man 4 announced some point.
hmm
Maybe I doubt D23. It's probably a Sony thing. They're going to announce that for on their investor
Yeah,
call or something. But
right.
I don't know. It feels like they're going to potentially be able to play in some of the wheelhouse for the MCU. This Spider-Woman movie, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think what I'm expecting at D23 this year, if there's any Spider-Man news or updates, it'll probably for Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes, 100%.
I feel like we'll get more around that than like live action Spider-Man.
And I also think that in the re-release of No Way Home, it'll probably be a
hmm
Across the Spider-Verse tease at the end. That's what it'll be. They'll probably
Oh,
take off the
definitely.
Doctor
Yeah,
Strange trailer because it's old news
yeah,
now, and put on
sure.
that or
Oh
something.
my
So we're still a
gosh,
year out
makes me
from.
even more excited to go see
I
it.
know we're a year out from No Way or from Across the Spider-Verse Part One. So
Yeah.
we we got a little time to speculate on it.
Oh
Not
yeah.
not huge things here, but production officially wraps on Echo.
Nice.
Again, it's not. I mean, obviously Daredevil's in it, Kingpin's in it, so I'm interested. But I just don't know if anyone was like, "Oh man, Echo! I need an Echo TV show." Like it
Yeah.
feels so left wing to me.
Hmm. I'm still excited to check it out. I mean, speaking of Daredevil, I saw some threads going on Twitter the other day where it's like, uh, is Matt Murdock Daredevil? Is he coming to LA in She Hulk, or is it going to be reversed? Is She Hulk going to go to Hell's Kitchen? Like, how do they cross paths? Like, what's if they're on different
Mm,
parts of the
I guess so. I didn't think about that. I mean,
some
these
fans are thinking that
lawyers got to travel, so maybe
that's true, but
Matt
some
Murdock.
theories are that that Matt Murdock is searching for Kate Bishop because she did fight Kingpin. So like, maybe he wants to approach her about like what happened there.
It would
Um,
make sense if Kate Bishop is like in the West Coast Avengers
yeah.
now or something
Yeah. A
like
lot of
that.
people think like this is more of like building out the West Coast Avengers, and maybe he's searching for Kate Bishop, or maybe this could go down the lawyer route, and maybe either of them need each other's help with something, so they're gonna have to meet up somewhere. I'm very curious to see what they do there.
I didn't really think about that too much. Yeah, I'm interested in it for sure. I know last night I was looking online. I want a Daredevil 4K steelbook. I'm hoping that they give that to me. The director's cut.
Yeah.
I like Ben Affleck's Daredevil movie, personally, and I had a lot of fun with it as a kid. I still like it now, but I'm excited for Daredevil. I mean, I suspect probably I don't know. He's not going to be in it a whole lot. I mean, I would love it if he's in there a little bit, but
Sure.
or a lot, but I just feel like he won't be.
Yeah. Same.
Moving on to DC real quick. Batgirl movie deleted. So one of the directors says, "No, we have nothing. All a deal called and told me go ahead, shoot everything on your phone. I went on the server, everything was gone. We were like, fuck, shit. We did not even keep the scenes with the Batman in them." The directors then would go on to release like an explanation video where they're like on the couch talking about the whole process. One was getting married, the other was visiting their grandparents' graves when they got the phone calls. And
Hmm.
it's kind of wild even then. Like they're literally living their life, and they're told over a phone call. They found out when we found out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a wild situation that they do this kind of stuff to even the people who are, I mean, they paid millions of dollars to these directors to do this project, and they find out like the same time that you and I did, which is kind of
Mm-hmm.
wild. You feel like they
Yeah.
would like let them know, like, hey, we're going to do this, and we're going to put a press release out, blah blah blah. Because then also that keeps them from going and trying to get on the servers and try. What I'm saying, like if they're told ahead of
Mm-hmm.
time or whatever, and it also keeps up the relationship with Warner Brothers and their cast and crew. There's apparently reportedly been secret funeral screenings of the movie are
Hmm.
being held like in on the Warner Brothers lots. Like apparently, I
Hmm.
don't know if this is true or not, but even people who are working on the movie apparently are talking about this too. They're saying like the movie is being shown to cast and crew, and then it's being locked into a vault forever afterward. Um, so it's interesting. You feel like if that, I don't know if that's true or not. I feel like Warner Brothers wouldn't do that.
I don't think they would either. Like, this I feel like there's a version somewhere that one person knows, and they'll probably like hold it to, they'll keep it to their close to their chest. But I do like that funeral screenings. I was, back in my mind, I'm like, I bet you a lot of the cast and crew like probably got together to actually watch it, knowing it's not being released, but still wanting to watch the work that, the time, all the time they put it to make this, they'd have to want to watch it. They should be allowed to watch it.
Yeah, someone's got it somewhere.
Yeah.
There's going to be some VFX guy. I mean, I don't know. There's going to be someone that has it, a low res copy in
Hmm.
some form on some computer or some hard drive. I would assume, especially people working remote, like VFX houses and stuff. Um, but then again, they may have not even got it out to VFX houses. They kind of talk about there's a lot of post production needed. They said that there were still reshoots needed to be done. They were just kind of getting into the process of it all.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm. It's very interesting. I know that the Batman 2 lives. So making this legendary studio my home is a dream. Reeves said in a statement. I am so excited to be working with Mike, Pam, and Channing and our teams to bring captivating stories, and I am truly passionate about the big and small screen. So, Batman 2 is a go, officially
Nice.
again. Penguin and Arkham Asylum shows are also still in a development.
It's
So,
great.
it seems like, and that was one of the ones to me I was kind of like, man, I'm surprised they haven't already, like, settled this because that movie did make a lot, like $850 million, which is great for a new Batman, new take
Hmm.
on the character, especially crawling. I mean, we were still in March, which the box office wasn't still back to normal yet. We had Spider-Man: No Way Home, but we were still kind of drizzling back
Hmm.
to the real world. If I think if the Batman released, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, it would have made probably $1 billion. I don't know that, but
Hmm.
I think that it would have made more releasing this summer versus March. Um, but yeah, I mean, it seems like everything's a go. Are you excited about that?
Oh yeah, of course, 100%. Like, still a huge fan of the Batman and the story and the world that Matt Reeves has created. So I'm very excited to see what's going to come next. What villain are we going to get? What story are we going to get?
Yeah, I'm really hoping. I was hoping we got a tease in the first one, but I think the Court of Owls is to me the Mac Daddy for this universe, and
I
I
I do see Court of Owls, and I also still see like almost going like this Adam West Batman, where like you have all of the classic villains, but they all get together to
yeah,
do something.
I'm
I
down with
think
that
that would
too.
be really incredible.
I think that you could have had the Court of Owls be the ones that initially kind of made the Riddler kind of start his, like who
Hmm.
gave him the documents, that kind of thing. And he says he's found them or whatever, but I think having the seeds of like who killed Bruce's parents really, um,
Hmm.
this, corrupt Gotham and like this group of people that have been there for a very long time through generations. And it's also it's culty. You could
Hmm.
have a great visuals too with that. I mean, there's a lot you could
Yeah.
do, a lot you could do.
Especially with like if you go back real quick, like you're looking at like a big part of the Batman from like the intro to what you see later on is you're looking like here's the Riddler's viewpoint of looking in on things. Here's Batman's viewpoint of looking in on things. But closing it out to see someone looking in on Batman, like being meaning the Court of Owls,
Yeah,
that would have been dope.
it would have been dope. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the end of the movie, particularly with the Riddler, basically the Joker should not have been in there. That
Yeah,
was and also I just not I think partly I'm just not a fan of the take of the Joker on this. So I'm
same.
just like
Yeah.
I just don't know if we needed it. And
I don't know.
I don't I
If
don't know if
they
I want a whole
if
movie.
yeah, well, if they're gonna do, they should have just put in like the bonus scene. Should have already been in the core film. I think it would have
Yeah, that would have made it better.
elevated that. Yeah,
100%. It feels out of nowhere and
yeah.
again, and if it was anyone else, if it was fucking Joaquin Phoenix, I'd have been like, you know, screen would have been white because I would have creamed the whole theater, so like it would have been fine, But
Uh,
also, speaking of Batman, apparently the Batman animated sequel or spin-off series from the animated series for HBO Max has been
mhm,
shopping around. So
yep.
HBO Max doesn't want it anymore, but it's still very much deep in development. And now there's been like a bidding war for on Hulu, Apple TV, Netflix, all these other places to get this animated series. I guess HBO Max has decided that it would make more money if they sold it versus having it on the streaming service. So I just I just don't understand some of these decisions. Like I get it on a financial level. They could make, let's say, $30 million, and they really have to like look at how many subscribers are going to get from HBO Max to drop it on there. But I'm like, again, it's just you're playing the long game here. You want all that kind of stuff on your streaming service.
Yep.
That way, 5 years from now, when people are looking, like, oh, this got this on here too. Like you're trying to build a catalog. You're trying to build like a
Mhm.
resume for your streaming service, and you got
Yeah.
to eat some money in some ways to do this. I just don't know how HBO, who's, Warner Brothers, which is the Batman, it's like
Mhm.
having the Batman on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's like this is the Batman streaming service. You need to
Yeah.
have arguably the sequel to the best cartoon of all time on your streaming service. I just don't
It
understand the
it
logic.
always, yeah, I mean, it just always kinda weirds me out when I see, like, here's all the Batman films streaming on Hulu. It's like, don't they need to just live on HBO?
Yeah, I know that stuff
Like,
irritates the
that stuff
shit out of
throws me
me.
off. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just like I like the idea of like knowing what content is where. And I also
Exactly, because it's that default for me. It's like, if I was just in the mood, like, "Man, I really just wanna go back and, like, rewatch Batman or Batman Returns," I'm immediately gonna go to HBO Max, and if it's not there, then I'm just frustrated because, like, now it's
yeah,
like a hunt. It's like, who's got it? Like, why is it not here?
yeah. Now granted, I own these movies physically. I own these movies digitally on Apple TV. But but there's just something about I don't know. I think it's I don't want 50 streaming services, but there is a core set of them that I really do enjoy, and I like it's like eating different foods every night. You're like, okay, tonight's Netflix, tomorrow's Apple TV. It's like they all have their own different flavors and different kind of things. Keeps things interesting, and I don't. I mean, part of me says, yeah, I do want one giant ultimate streaming service that has everything that I don't have to worry about it anymore. But also, I like competition, and I like that they're competing
Mhm.
for my eyeball. Like I
Yeah.
like that, and
Yeah.
so I just, it's like Disney. It was like the same thing. It was like Daredevil was on Netflix, and then Disney Plus has everything else. And I was kind of like, damn, this sucks. And then,
Mhm.
Deadpool and Logan weren't on there because they're rated R. And I was like, this sucks because
Mhm.
I get it, branding, whatever. But now they are. And you're like, fuck yeah. Like, this feels like,
Yeah.
yes, everything is on this one platform that's Marvel related. I don't have to go
Mhm.
anywhere else. I can do everything within this ecosystem.
Mhm.
And yeah, just something about it just really fucking irritates me. I don't know, man. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe Netflix should jump in and pay the rest of Batgirl and then put it on their streaming service. Why didn't they do that, Warner Brothers?
Wouldn't be
If you're so,
surprised if they had those conversations.
I mean, if they were so keen on this, why didn't they do that? I mean, like, can
Yeah.
you imagine?
Shop it
Netflix,
out.
Netflix easily would have jumped in and added $20 million to get the new Batgirl movie with Michael Keaton in it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's yeah. Why is that never a conversation? I don't understand.
Mhm.
There's no fucking way that that movie is gonna be that bad.
Yeah.
No way. Dan Lin Charaj takes charge of DC film and television. Walter Hamada will leave the role following Black Adam in October. Lin has been executive producer on Hollywood movies like Aladdin, the Lego Movie, and It Part One and Two, and he will report directly to David Zaslav. I mean, the resume's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of a left wing choice. I don't really know too much about him, but
Hmm.
maybe he can come in. It's the thing, you don't really know. I mean, I didn't know who Kevin Feige was, until like probably Captain America. Like there was
Hmm.
Iron Man and Incredible Hulk, and then probably when Iron Man 2 hit, you're starting to kind of see the same names, and you're starting to watch behind the scenes stuff, and this guy in the
Hmm.
hat is talking. Like, who's this Kevin Feige guy? And then,
Yeah.
by the
Probably
time we had,
like for me, like when Civil War came out, I was paying a lot more attention to like
really,
who is this guy? Like what you're saying, yeah.
really see, I mean, I was kind of locked in before Avengers 1, but still, I didn't know, so like,
Yeah.
you just don't know this guy until he's got a few more movies under his belt, and the way fucking well, we're gonna get into it. But the way DC does their movie releases, we won't know for another 5, 6 years if this guy's
Hmm.
working or not, and they could literally change, heads of the studio within 2, 3 years based on again the track record. So Jason Momoa confirms Ben Affleck return in an interview for the season or the last season of C on Apple TV. He says, "Fuck it, he's coming back." Just reconfirming that he's, obviously what we saw was like photos from the day of
Hmm.
Aquaman set that he is coming back. It's also interesting because of this right here. So Aquaman 2 has been pushed to December 2023, a whole year away, which
Mm.
is like, fuck. Like, it's been 5 years. When it comes out, it'll be 5 years since Aquaman 2 came out. 5 years. And it's their highest grossing DC movie ever. Took them 5 years to make a sequel. That's fucking forever. Granted, 2 of those years is
Yeah.
the pandemic.
Sure.
That's still fucking forever. Shazam 2 is pushed to March 2023, taking the, I don't remember what was there, but it was going to be a
Hmm.
Christmas movie this year. And, obviously it was going to compete with Avatar, so I get why they'd move
Hmm.
it. But
Yeah.
still, it's like, damn, now we gotta wait 3 more months for that, which is not the end of the world. But Aquaman 2 really
Still a
hurts.
bummer.
Aquaman
Aquaman
2
too,
hurts.
yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
And this is on top of Batgirl being canceled, which was also supposed to
Sure.
come out this year. And yeah, it's kind of wild. And so Black Adam is the last DC movie of 2022. Remember that that DC Heroes trailer we got earlier this year? We had
Yep.
it showed like the Flash, it showed the Batman, it showed Black Adam, and it showed Aquaman 2. And now we've just had the Batman and Black Adam. That's all we've gotten now.
Very disappointing.
It is disappointing. It is. Even though Aquaman
I
1 didn't like rock me, that last act fucking rules. And I still want to
yeah.
see it, I want to see
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah. I need to go back. I've only watched Aquaman twice, I think,
Hmm.
all the way through. I wouldn't mind going back and revisiting it, but that one hurts. Like I wish I would have kept that this year. I'm more excited to see that than Black Adam.
I was. I mean, well, at least I knew the last act of Aquaman 2 would probably be awesome. That's, I
Yeah.
can probably count on that because again, the last act of that first one, man, it is when
Hmm.
he gets the suit, becomes king, when he comes in, it's rad as fuck. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like the visual effects, I mean, all that stuff is like this is like a epic movie, and
Yeah.
the movie up before that is, I mean, it's wild. It's got some wild problems, and the chemistry
Hmm.
between him and Amber Heard is.
Yeah.
We heard Walter Hamada on the stand say we had to find the chemistry within the edit. So I mean, which is also very damning,
Yeah.
But I
Oh,
I
that's got to
liked.
be rough. Just editing that film, and you're just cringing. Like
Oh man, I've done
it's
it.
like in the back of your mind, it's like we need to go reshoot all this.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I've been in those situations where I'm editing and there's performances and I'm like, God damn, like you're just like I didn't see something or someone else didn't see something or whoever was directing or whatever, and you're just like, how do I make this fucking work?
Yeah.
But every movie's like that to some degree, but
Yeah.
um anyway, I just this does hurt a lot. And Black Adam, it's not getting the buzz that
Hmm.
it's a movie with The Rock, which you automatically think, okay, it's gonna make some type of um return on investment. And maybe they'll
Yeah.
pick up some marketing here pretty soon, but it's just I don't see people within the community just being overly excited about this movie. I just don't,
Yeah,
not yet.
yeah. Not it's
And
like yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious. It's around the corner. It's like 2 months away. Um,
Mhm,
so I mean, I'm gonna watch it, of course, but I need more.
mhm.
I don't know. I don't want to see any more of the movie, but I want people to be excited about it because I want it to do well because I do want more of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree there. It's like as we're talking about this, I'm just thinking like people are just gonna be like, "Oh, did you hear The Rock's a superhero? Maybe we'll go check it out, I guess. That sounds kind of cool." Not
Yeah,
really leaning into like the story and then it's DC and then, people that pay attention are like, "Wasn't he just in another DC movie?" Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, with
with
Super
super
Pets.
pets. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's the biggest movie star in the world, and besides Tom Cruise, and I just
I was about to say like
yeah, Tom Cruise is the biggest. Yeah, I mean yeah, The Rock's never had a billion. No, no. Welcome or Jumanji's $1 billion movie, I believe. I
Mm,
think it made a cool billion.
mm, mm, mm.
Jumanji, let's look it up. It's so dumb that they named it this. Welcome to the Jungle. It made 962.5 million, so almost a billion. The next one made 800 million. So I mean, those are really good for the budgets. But yeah, so um, anyway, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm very
Mm.
curious here. So our big topic of the week, and we're getting close to being done here. Ezra Miller apologizes to Warner Brother executives following fear of movie cancellation. Here's the scoop. Ezra Miller visited the Warner Brothers lot alongside their agent to meet with studio heads Pamela Abdy and Michael DeLuca. Per the report, Miller's visit was to reaffirm their commitment to The Flash, apologize for bringing negative attention to the production and Warner Brothers, and commit to finding help. The trade further stated that Miller feels particularly attached to the role as Barry Allen and agreed to get help once they heard that Abdy and DeLuca were considering canceling The Flash. I mean, I don't know.
I'm not buying it.
You don't think so?
I mean, this is one of those scenarios with everything that's been going on with Miller this year. It's like Pixar didn't happen. Like
Yeah,
when
I
I
mean,
read this the other day, especially just the way I read it and the way they were like telling the story just felt cringy. It felt like I don't think he was there. I still think this is just PR people just trying to push the story just to keep a positive spin on things when all this is going on.
what's weird to
Like,
me is that I feel like this would have happened much earlier. Like we've been talking about this for 3 to 4 months now, and I'm just like, I don't know. It is weird that he's now. Granted, he could be in a situation where he's spiraling out of control, but I just feel like
mhm,
Warner Brothers would have reached out to him way earlier. I'm saying like I don't think and I just don't feel like he come to them without them coming to come or reaching out first. I just don't know,
yeah,
but it does feel very orchestrated. I mean, we heard 2 3 weeks ago that there was three options they were considering, and now and one of the options has come true now. Like this is the
mhm,
option. We still don't have confirmation. I mean, we know that we've heard that from the producers the Flash is okay. Like everything's okay in
mhm,
Flashland is what they said. Now we're getting
mhm,
this report, and we're getting drip feed some information here. It really feels like um, you know, they chose a path and that they've releasing this information. They probably leaked this, like, oh, Ezra was at the studio, blah 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 blah. I don't know.
mhm,
It's interesting. Again, I just don't think they do. They're just fucking idiots over there. But they should not keep this man as Barry Allen.
yeah,
Even everyone needs help. People sometimes really do spiral out of control, and they have issues, and there's things they can and can't control within their lives, and it's unfortunate. But on just a fine on a insurance level, on like a risk level, there's always a chance of people. Let's just say that the things that have been accused of him are not true. He still has some disruptive behavior. On that
mhm,
alone, they should be like, we're going to recast you for the next movie.
mhm.
You know, now if you take in some of the accusations and say they are partially true or true at all, you can't keep the man as the Flash. You know, I think their best bet as a studio, as like someone who has a financial stake in this property, is to kind of do what they're doing here, right? Drip feed out these kind of apologies, blah 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 blah, blah, and then do as long as they can until the movie's ready. That's to me. That's why I think they should have released the movie this fall. Like
Yeah.
had this, got the movie out there, and then that way, his all the other stuff around him can kind of come out and fall apart after the movie's
Mhm.
out, and then take their losses. Again, it's still people keep saying it's tested, like it's the highest tested DC movie since the
Hmm.
Dark Knight trilogy. So I just don't know. I mean, I'm very curious. First of all, it could fucking not even come out next year. The way DC goes, Warner Brothers are like, oh, let's just push you back another year. So I don't know. I don't know.
The Flash 2025.
Makes my ass hurt thinking about it. Um,
If they, man, if they did that, I think fans would fans would get a super vocal. Who knows? I don't know. I just don't know right now. Like this is just getting really wild.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like
But,
next year we have two DC movies, right? Early and the end of the year. There's nothing in the middle,
yeah,
and we don't. When does the Flash come out? I think maybe that is the middle. And we have three
because
next year. I think it's June, all right? The Flash
that sounds about
movie.
right.
June 23rd.
June
Okay,
twenty
so that's
third.
so they have three next year. So that's solid.
Mm-hmm.
And they have those are three solid movies. When does Blue Beetle come out? That's my next question. Maybe we have four.
Is Blue Beetle coming? That's the thing. Is like, are they gonna? Is do we know for sure that that one will come out? Or are they gonna?
We don't know for sure. It's August 18th. I mean, they did say that it was like it was originally HBO Max, but they saw it and they bumped it to theaters because they liked what they saw so much. So, and I don't know if they can get away with doing this two different movies. Like I think
Yeah.
they obviously get away with it, but this is PR nightmare. So that's
Mm-hmm.
four DC movies next year. So that makes me feel a little better in general. Um, but once next year happens, there's nothing filming right now that's going to come out in 2024. There's nothing, and there's no way the Batman 2 is gonna be ready by then. And I mean, they're saying that it's years away, right? I mean, we'll have
Mm-hmm.
Peacemaker season two. We might have the other untitled James Gunn TV show out in 2024, but I suspect Peacemaker season two will be next year as well at some point.
Yeah.
If they don't cancel it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I don't know you know, what's on the docket here. I mean, I know they're saying they're doubling down on Green Lantern. Um, I don't know. Wonder Woman 3, like Wonder Woman 84 came out 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we have heard nothing about it other than they're working on
Yeah.
it.
It's
But
been.
I'm not sure if
Yeah.
they are anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. What's your thoughts on it?
I just hope that they'll. I'm wondering if they're just going to. They're moving these other films around. Get Black Adam out since it's the last movie of this year, right?
Uh-huh.
And then after that, maybe Warner Brothers will beginning of 23 do like a press conference or do an event or something where they're like, look, we've moved stuff around, but like here's what's going on. So here's what you can expect from us for like the next 3 years or whatever. And maybe reveal like more of the plan of like what's going to come out. That's what I hope for at least.
Yeah, me
um,
too.
Other than just keeping us in the dark, because like they can't keep us in the dark forever, right? They're going to have something, whether it's like the DC fandom or some special event.
I'm looking right
Um,
now. I typed it in DC fandom. I still have the website up, but it's for 2021, and I mean, there's been nothing all year. I feel like DC fandom's dead.
yeah.
And then granted, I mean, like if they did do one this year, I mean, they're canceling a lot of the shows that were there last year, and also like it'd be the same movies again. It'd
Hmm.
be the Flash. They can't do Batgirl anymore. They could show Blue Beetle, which would be cool.
Yeah.
They could show Black Adam, but it's right around the corner. Um, they could show Aquaman 2, but it's still the same movies that they did last year and the year before that. It's like
Mhm.
it'd be 3 years in a row the same stuff. Um, I don't know. I feel like DC fandom's a really cool thing, and I
Mhm.
don't know why they're not doing it. They should do a live like a. They should have like made like a live in person small venue D23 or something like that. Like it should be something like
Mhm.
that where you have. I mean, maybe that's why they also got this guy. Dan Lin, to kind of prep for this. Maybe they'll
Yeah.
do it in the spring or something. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we're going to finally show the Flash and finally show Blue Beetle, and we're going to announce all the slate of movies. I don't know, but I like DC fandom. I think they should bring it back
Mhm.
personally. And I don't know, man. It's a wild time for Warner
It's
Brothers.
either bring it back or create something new, and that be the new thing that we can expect to this time every year
Yeah, I
to
think so
get
too.
updates.
And I mean, we've had D23 every year now, right? Am I making that up? I think we have. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
an investor call. Yeah, so
Mhm.
I think yeah they need to be consistent. Even stuff like that, they need to have consistency. They could
Mhm.
show stuff from the Batman animated series, and they could show.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot they could talk and do about, and it's not just the movies and TV. It's also comic books and
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
merchandising, and that's what's always been, and the comic book stuff. And I
I
think
mean,
it's a great
they
place.
can get like Kevin Conroy could come give updates. Jim Lee could come give updates. Like,
Yeah, you could have Matt Reeves back on set and be like,
yeah,
let's talk about the making of the Batman, and let's
get
talk about
yeah,
working on
get
Penguin. You know what I'm saying?
get
Like,
the cast. Yeah, get Colin Farrell. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's the thing about the first two DC fandoms that they weren't in person, and
mhm.
make them like Star Wars Celebration or the DC panel, like invite fans, and have a convention and make it. You can make it smaller, but make it more just press related. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
something that feels like it's tangible and people can grab onto it. So
Yep.
I just I don't know sometimes the decision making that's happening over there right now, and I'm hoping that it's just optics on our end, and they actually have a plan. They know what they're doing. It just looks bad from our perspective, but I'm hoping they really figure it out.
Mhm.
Let's just rapid fire some of these, and we'll get off here. O&T cast as lead ape in fourth Planet of the Apes movie. That's fine. I mean, I don't know who that is. First of all, but second of all, more importantly, I guess we need another Planet of the Apes movie. I think we kind of peaked with Rise of the Planet of the not Rise, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which is my favorite one.
Yeah.
And I mean they're
Um.
going to keep making them, I guess. So
Yeah. I saw this, but I'm like, is this a fourth film or is this a reboot, another
it,
remake? Are we starting
it's
over?
it's a fourth film. It takes place apparently in like a generation or so after Caesar dies, and spoilers in
Okay.
War of the Planet of the Apes.
Gotcha.
Also directed by Matt Reeves. So
Mhm. Sure.
I'm curious. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, you know, I don't need these movies, but they're going to keep making them, especially to make a profit. And
Mhm.
I will say, watching War of the Planet of the Apes in theaters, it was like one of those times where I was watching a movie and I had to like really like come out of it and be like, wait, those aren't real apes. Like they look so
Yeah.
good. Like they look so good.
I will
Um,
say, like with Reeves' Planet of the Apes films,
hmm
I enjoyed all of them, but surprisingly or ironically, or however you want to say it, for each of those, worst theater experience.
Really?
Yeah,
Not for me.
I think in all of them, people brought in kids that ended up like screaming through the whole film, or
Really?
people would sit behind me and talk through the entire film.
I get lucky when I get all these movie experiences. I know Johnny Brandon's the least lucky man in the world when it comes to movie experiences. I love the
For
man,
some
but I'm
reason,
always kind of wary. Like, do I
yeah,
invite Johnny? Because then like
yeah.
there's someone going to be talking in the movie.
For some
I'm kidding. I
reason,
always invite
Planet
Johnny.
of the Apes films were like never a good experience. I always like left like enjoying the film, but ultimately frustrated because
Dang,
I had to deal with
I'm
all that other
sorry.
stuff.
I would like to I've only seen War once. I'd like to rewatch that.
Yeah,
I like Woody Harrelson a lot, and
yeah.
I would like to see it again. Because especially Matt Reeves again, he's a really talented filmmaker. He's just talented. He is. Another King Kong live action series from Paper Girls writer Stephanie Folsom is in development for Disney Plus. It is separate from the MonsterVerse, which is like, man, what do we need that? Like, it's fine. It's just like, also
Well, this is
if we're having IP into the shared cinematic universe, it's like I just
mhm.
don't want spin-offs until I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird.
Well,
I
it's
don't
also
know.
like this. we're getting a live action Kong series that's going to Disney Plus. We're getting a live
Hmm.
action Godzilla series that's going to Apple TV.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
and
we're
then you're
getting
getting like
right
Godzilla
here.
versus Kong 2 that'll probably go to HBO, and it's just like,
I know. Yeah, I know exactly.
what?
And the thing is, this is not the King Kong one's not related to the MonsterVerse, but the Godzilla one
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
And then yeah, and here God GBK2 as the kids say confirms Godzilla and Kong team up to fight threat. Yeah, of course.
of
Yeah,
course, yeah.
it's cause that's the first movie. Like whenever the first
Hmm.
movie dropped, before the trailer come out, I'm like, well, they're gonna fight and they're gonna fight something else. It should have been called
Hmm.
Godzilla versus Kong: Dawn of Justice. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it should have been. Or sorry, Godzilla v Kong. Yeah, that's what it should have
Yeah,
been called. But um, yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. Again, it's just it's their property, it's their IP. They do what they
yeah,
want. But there's
yeah.
just something about inconsistency on this kind of stuff that just bugs the hell out of me. It's like again, if Batman the cartoon shows up on fucking Disney Plus, I'm gonna lose my fucking. It won't happen. But I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
I'm gonna be like,
I know what
what
you're
is
saying.
happening?
Hmm.
Rings of Power reactions are overwhelmingly positive. The first two episodes have been, you know, reviewers have got the first two episodes already. It happens, I think, in like a week and a half. I think two. It's not. Maybe it's this weekend. When's Ring of Power?
It's
Rings
the second, so it's this Friday.
this Friday. Is it two episodes drops or just one? Do you know?
I don't know if it's one or two, but I do believe Wednesday. It may be two because you can
Yeah,
watch the first two in select theaters.
really. Yeah, it says right here the first two episodes drop. I didn't know that in select theater. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I watched the trailer again last night before bed. The visually it looks pretty stunning. It looks magnificent.
Visually it
So, I mean,
does, but it's just for me, like a lot of the story that this one's based around, I never read the book, so I will probably go into this having a pretty solid experience. But I can get it with those that have read the book are probably gonna nitpick every screen.
well, see, here's the thing where I think that this might be a different case. It's kind of loosely based on the Similarian, and it was
Hmm.
the only Lord of the Rings movie book that I owned, and I bought it because of my, my as a kid, my love for the trilogy. I was like, oh, here's
Hmm.
a book I don't know, I didn't read the original books. I was like, I didn't want to read them because I watched the movies. I know blasphemy,
Yeah.
but I was like, oh, I'll read the Similarian. It's hard to read. It's not an easy read at all, and so I think
Hmm.
I've seen a lot of people be like, okay, this will actually make it more digestible, and we can kind of, um, pick out some of those things, some of the world building of the Middle Earth and that kind of stuff, and I think it will make it more palatable ultimately. So I'm, I'm gonna watch it. I mean, did you watch Game of Thrones yet?
Not the second episode.
Dude, it's good.
Okay.
It's really good, and I think that for me, um, and this might be blasphemy. I don't know. I mean, I like Lord of the Rings. I liked it more as a kid than I do now, but I just something about I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not like as in love with it as some other people. But I do like Game of Thrones. Like I think taking out the last season, like watching House of the Dragon, I'm like I really like this. I like the politics behind it. I
Hmm.
like the it's a little more grounded. There's still dragons, but it's not there's not magic every 2 seconds, and there's not
Sure.
dwarves and elves and that kind of stuff. It's really just humans, and
Hmm.
dragons. I like that. And I think it's more my kind of my speed of fantasy personally, and
Hmm.
so I'm very curious to see how Rings of Power, like right now, I'm like I was not looking forward to more Game of Thrones. Like the end of season 8 just fucking destroyed me. So I just not excited for House of the Dragon at all. But now I'm on 2 episodes in, I'm like, okay, you got me. This is
Yeah.
pretty good. Like I really like it a lot.
Saw
So
someone tweet like, what did they? I can't remember what they said exactly, but it's like pushing through like House of Dragon, knowing that one day Braun will become
I
king.
saw that last night, yeah, online, and they're right. I mean, I've got a theory though. Like you've seen episode 1, right?
Hmm.
Let's talk about this real quick. Um, it says, and okay, and maybe this is wishful thinking on my end, and I feel like I'm trying to change or rewrite the ending to Game of Thrones because I didn't like it. I didn't like that Jon Snow didn't kill the Night
Hmm.
King. Blah 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 blah. It turns out that the Targaryens have. a more noble reason to be on the Iron Throne than maybe it was perceived. They're not as they are, conquest and warmongering, but also it's
Mhm.
because of a vision that
Mhm.
Aegon had, saying like you have to be on the throne because the only thing that can defeat ice is fire,
Mhm.
aka dragons, aka us. And so it feels like there's a prophecy that a Targaryen has to defeat the Night King, right?
Mhm.
It's what it boils down to. Jon
Yeah.
didn't defeat the Night King,
Mhm.
nor did Daenerys. Now, granted, them coming together gave it was because of them that the Night King lost, right? Ultimately,
Mhm.
because of resources and teaming up and everything else.
Mhm.
But um, Arya killed the Night King, so
Mhm.
maybe I'm being too literal with it. Again, it what Arya could never have done it without Jon and Daenerys,
Mhm.
doing what they did. But I'm like, maybe the Night King's not dead, and maybe Jon Snow gets to have a rematch, a true rematch with the Night King. And if that happened, then I'd be like, okay, I'm back. I'm back on board with Game of Thrones, like
Hmm.
fully. That was the thing
Yeah.
that was missing. And
Mhm.
again, you have an ice dragon versus the fire dragon, and you have Jon versus the Night King. Like I don't know how you just don't do that. I
Yeah. Why didn't they give that? Why?
It is one of the biggest
Yeah.
tragedies in narrative history that you don't. I cannot. I've never read any of the Game of Thrones books. Whenever he does finish Winds of Winter, I'm going to start reading them. And
Mhm.
when I know that man actually is going to finish those series, I'll start reading
Mhm.
them because I got to know like how does it end? Does it end a similar way? Does Arya still kill the Night King, or does Jon do it? And I
Yeah.
mean, and to be fair, in the books, Jon hasn't been resurrected yet. The end of the last book, he dies. That's been
Mhm.
out. That's
Mhm.
how far ahead the show got. But I just I don't know. I gotta.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy. Maybe I don't like
Yeah.
House of Dragon anymore. Okay, how do you think I'm being too literal, or do you think that
No,
they're like
and I always forget that, like, the books haven't been finished, like, I don't keep up with that enough. At one point, I thought they were, but, yeah, I guess he's still working on maybe the final book, or I don't know. I don't know what's going on
he's
there,
got
but
two left. He's got the Winds of Winter, which hasn't been out
mhm,
yet, and he's got one final one that again it's taken him like 9 years to write Winds of Winter, but the final one's
mhm,
called a Dream of Spring, and
hmm,
that'll be the end of the whole thing. And
gotcha.
he's really
Yeah,
old right now.
it's gonna be yeah, yeah, once they come out, I'll read them as well.
I like to read them. I like the world, and I bet the books
Mhm,
are probably better
yep,
than the show.
yep,
Um, they kind of have to be, right? So
mhm.
Halloween Ends will stream on Peacock same day, October 14th. I mean, it did really well for them last time, and but I want to see this in the theater.
Mhm.
This is the last one. It's probably Jamie Lee Curtis's last Halloween movie ever, I'd suspect, right? Like, why would
Yeah.
she want to do more after this?
Yeah, which what Halloween Kills, didn't it stream it streamed on HBO Max, right?
No, it was Peacock same day.
Was it Peacock? Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I couldn't remember. Yeah,
yeah.
Halloween Kills, I just opted to watch that at home. Didn't go see that in theater.
Me
But
too.
this one, it's gotta be a theater experience.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting is like I like the first Halloween, and then
Mhm.
Halloween Kills, I opted for home, and then and it was I didn't like it, but now
Yeah.
this one I'm like I need to go to the theater to see it because it's like the end, and like it looks like they're actually giving me what I wanted for the sequel for
Mm.
the first Halloween. So
I hope
yeah, I
so.
agree with
I
you.
do have some other questions around this, mainly just because the director's from Arkansas, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, I'm curious too. I'm curious too. House of the Dragon breaks viewing record. Oh, sorry, let's go back. Umbrella Academy renewed for a fourth and final season. Do you watch Umbrella Academy?
I started watching the first one when it came out and just couldn't get into it. So this is one of those, I know there's a fan base. This is one I'd probably just wait for it to be completely over and then one day go back and watch it maybe.
That's how I feel. I started season one. I don't think I finished season one. I'm like it should be like for me, but I just can't get
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah,
People really
same.
like it though. They say if you get
Mhm.
into it, it's good. But I hear season three is kind of middling. But
Mm.
um, 4 seasons, I feel like
Yeah.
maybe if I hear it sticks the landing, maybe I'll go back and power through them. House of the Dragon breaks viewing records. It had 20 million views across all platforms, most ever for a pilot on HBO. It's pretty good. I mean, it has been announced that they are doing a season two, and it looks like we're going to get more House of the Dragon. One thing I do like about the show is that it has time jumps in it, and
Mhm.
we're going to get like a expanding view of the Target House of Targaryen. So
Okay.
maybe I'll have like a season three or four don't end, so like gives them time to get this Jon Snow show up and running. They shot the pilot for I can't remember what it's called, something of the night, whatever it
Mhm.
was, and they didn't like it. I guess they didn't feel like it was Games of Thrones enough, so they ended up
Mm.
making this show in response to that. So they're really wanting to break out this world. And if they're this good, and they hopefully stick the landing this time, yeah, I'll keep watching it. It's a fun world.
Mhm.
Again, this is kind of one of those situations like Star Wars. Since I didn't like the end of Rise of Skywalker, we got to go past that now to make a new ending so I can like it again.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what they have to do for me for Game of Thrones. Like this is great and all, but we need to go
Mhm.
past the end of Game of Thrones so I can be like, okay, this isn't the end anymore. And we'll get that with Jon Snow. The question is,
Mhm.
what will they do with that character?
Yeah.
So tomorrow, 4K releases. The only one we have is an anime called Bell. Don't know anything about it, but it comes out tomorrow. And then our 4K re-releases, the best one, of course, we have Miami Connection, with 1987. It's like a great, if you've seen movies like Samurai Cop and
Mm.
all these other great D-level movies that are got cult followings. Miami Connection is a great one. It's like in the same vein as like The Room. It's not as bad as that, but it's a great fun popcorn night movie with your friends. A good drinking movie. So if you haven't watched that one, definitely check that out. There's Cat People, Faceless, one of my favorite movies of all time. Warrior. There's a 4K steelbook of that, um, which I love that movie. I want to buy it, but I don't want to spend the money on it. But I'm
Mm.
tempted. I'm tempted to go get it tomorrow. The Young Like It Hot, Sweet Young Foxes. Don't know what those are, but they're older movies from 1983. We're getting a lot of 80s re-releases. I've noticed it in the last couple of weeks.
Nice.
One thing also, you can now pre-order Thor: Love and Thunder on Steelbook.
Mhm.
I already got mine pre-ordered. They've also got The Running Man, Arnold Schwarzenegger new 4K Steelbook you can pre-order, and Punisher Warzone you can pre-order that as well, with Ray Stevenson.
I did see the other day, um you in the UK they're getting a special edition, I guess 4K box set release of The Wolf of Wall Street.
Ooh, cool.
I ordered it.
There you go. Yeah, I have a hard time ordering international Blu-rays,
Yeah.
um, but that's cool though.
But
That's
I
a
mean,
great
it's
movie.
like I think it's like when converting it, it's like 45, $47 somewhere in
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
range. So not terrible or anything, but
There's some cool. I mean, Blu-rays are. You can really find some cool editions of your favorite movies. I
yeah.
was gonna ask. I don't know if I've ever asked you this. What is your favorite movie, Luke?
Oh my goodness. It's the one
We'll end
question
on
like you just
this.
can't answer
I
because I
can
have a lot
answer it.
of movies I
What's your
enjoy.
favorite? What was the first thing that popped in your head? At least that's kind of my
Nothing
go-to.
right now because like it's like for me it just depends on what mood I'm into. Like I've got
Sure.
things that I go to in specific moods.
Okay,
I
let me paint a
mean,
picture for you. You're sick. You got COVID 55, and you're sitting there and you're
mhm.
shivering, and it's raining outside, and you got a blanket, and you got some Campbell's soup and some hot cocoa. What's the movie that makes you feel good? What movie do you throw on and be like, I want to get rid of COVID 55? What is it?
um 500 Days of Summer.
Awesome. That's a depressing movie, but awesome. It's not
It would either be
depressing,
between that it would either be between that or You've Got Mail.
dude. You've Got Mail's good too. 500 Days of Summer is good. Mark Webb, it was his
Yeah.
first, I guess, no movie or big movie. I mean, that alone got him the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
There's just I mean, there's actually
solid.
a YouTube. You can go search on YouTube. I was a guest on a friend's channel, and we did talk about this movie. So there is more story behind why that movie's so special to me. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a solid movie. I mean, it's a really good movie. I like it a
Mhm.
lot. I've always kind of wanted to make a movie kind of same genre. But yeah, I was
Yeah.
just curious, Luke. I've never asked you that question. I don't think that's a hard one for film for
That's a
cinephiles.
difficult one because, it's just like it just depends on the mood I am. Like, it's like,
Sure.
um, yeah.
My answer for most of my life was Back to the Future slash 2002 Raimi Spider-Man movie, and it wasn't
Okay.
until about 4 years ago when I was teaching at UCA, it kind
Mhm.
of changed, I think, to True Lies. So right now my answer is True
Oh,
Lies.
wow. Really?
But
Okay.
yeah, I think that's my answer at the moment. But I got a sweet special edition, like limited edition True Lies poster, and Tom Arnold will be at Comic Con or Arkansas Comic Con
Mhm.
here in a couple weeks, and I
Yep.
may take it down there and have him sign it.
Oh,
But
do it. Man, that's a
yeah,
movie I haven't watched in a while, but yeah,
dude,
it's a good one.
there's no Blu-ray of it. There's no 4K Blu-ray of it.
Mhm.
James Cameron's been remastering it for
Mhm.
work on, ever, but he's working on Avatar, so he's not getting to it. So it's kind of wild that movie doesn't have a Blu-ray release.
That's
It's
crazy.
very frustrating. You can only watch it on 720p DVD. It's all you can. That's the only way you can watch it. So it's just so weird.
Mm.
But anyway, how can our listeners find you, Luke?
Yeah, Agents of Mace. We're putting out a weekly show talking Marvel. So right now we're talking about She-Hulk. And definitely check out my channel. I'm gonna once I get through like balancing out work, I'm gonna try to get back to a regular routine of putting out videos. I've watched so many movies and just haven't talked about them, but youtube.com/Luke Urban is where I chat about my thoughts on films.
Awesome. And if you want more two for one, you can always go to youtube.com/2 for one studios, the place where you are at right now if you're watching this. Of course, if you subscribe, it really helps people find the channel. And of course, helps us not make any more money because we don't monetize the channel. So, but it helps. So it makes me feel good on the inside, and that's what matters. So do that. And of course, check out our podcast 2 for one. We have a new episode released every week. Episode 132, I believe, drops this week. And we're talking in the Sandman um, part two. We talked about the first half last week, and no, it comes out today. Sorry, or it comes out Wednesday. Part one does. So part two drops next week, I believe. So yeah. Oh wow, interesting. Yeah, I thought it was already out. It's not because it's out Wednesday, guys. So part two drops next week. We're talking about She-Hulk as it's going. House of the Dragons on the corner, and then Lord of the Rings is around the corner too. So we have a lot we're going to talk about. And Bruce Hutchinson will be back very soon to talk another movie, breaking it down on a script analysis level. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for hanging out. This is fine Monday morning. 2 for 1 Joe. Hope you had your coffee in. Hope you got some good some good news out of today. And we will catch you guys next week. I think Luke is actually soloing next week.
That's
I'll
the
be out of
plan. Yeah,
town on vacation. So wish Luke the best of luck, and I hope you get a good guest. We can talk about that this week as we go. But
definitely.
um, we'll catch you guys later.